Hey there, fifth graders. Are you ready to become Earth detectives today? So grab those explorer hats and get comfortable because we are going to dive deep into a massive mystery. And it's one that affects literally every single living thing on our planet, including you and me. Let me ask you a quick question. Have you ever noticed our planet is kind of sweating? Yep, today we're exploring exactly why our amazing Earth is heating up. We're going to uncover some really cool planet facts, figure out what's happening to our global home, and talk about why it totally matters.
Before we jump into the science, a quick shout out to the creator behind this learning journey. This explainer is produced by Waqas Ahmed Shah, Educator, an AI agents and automation builder for educators, traders, and startups, based in Karachi, Pakistan. Okay, detectives, let's get right into it.
So, let's start by taking a trip way back in time. Imagine a world hundreds of thousands of years ago. Our Earth was a totally different place back then. Picture giant woolly mammoths roaming across massive thick sheets of ice. Most of the planet was frozen completely solid, almost like it was wrapped in a giant frozen blanket. That was the Ice Age. But you know, as time passed, Earth naturally warmed up, that ice slowly melted, and life really began to grow and change. By the year 1900, the temperature started creeping up, rising by about 0.8 degrees Celsius. And looking ahead to the rest of the 21st century, well, scientists predict it could actually jump by 3 to 5 degrees. So our planet is definitely riding a temperature roller coaster right now.
So, what exactly is this mystery we're trying to solve today? What actually is global warming? Well, simply put, it's the rising of the average temperature on Earth. Basically, it means the whole planet, from the icy tip-top of the North Pole all the way down to the freezing bottom of the South Pole, and literally everywhere in between is just gradually getting warmer.
Now, there's a really important distinction we need to make here, and that's the difference between climate and weather. Sometimes people get these two mixed up, but it is super important to know the difference. Weather is basically how hot, cold, rainy, or sunny it is on any given day. Like if you wake up and say, wow, it's really hot this Tuesday afternoon, that is weather. But climate? Climate is the long-term overall temperature of the Earth measured over a very long time. So when we talk about global warming, we're not just talking about one unusually hot summer day in your hometown. We're talking about the big picture, the climate of our entire world warming up.
To understand how this all works, I want you to imagine something really cozy. Think of it like a giant invisible blanket wrapped all the way around the Earth. Picture our planet bundled up in this invisible blanket made entirely of gases. When the bright sun shines its heat down on us, this gas blanket traps some of that warm air inside just to keep us comfortable. It works exactly like the blanket on your bed keeps you warm at night. This is what scientists call the greenhouse effect. Without this invisible blanket, Earth would honestly be way too cold for us to live on. But what do you think happens if that blanket gets just a little too thick? You guessed it, we start to sweat. Okay, let's dive into this and find out exactly why that blanket is getting thicker. There are a few major culprits making Earth so warm right now. First off, we have natural temperature fluctuations. Earth has always naturally warmed and cooled throughout its history. We also have things like volcanic eruptions and increased solar activity, which is basically just the sun getting a little more energetic. But the really big one we need to talk about is greenhouse gases, like carbon dioxide. When we do everyday things in our modern world, these gases act just like the glass windows of a greenhouse, keeping all that warm air trapped inside. They're basically stuffing more fluff into our invisible blanket.
Now you might be sitting there thinking, okay, but a few degrees doesn't sound like that much. What's the big deal? Let's just consider 1 degree Celsius, just a tiny 1 degree rise. Well, here's a wild fact for you. A tiny 1 degree rise in temperature is actually enough to start melting huge amounts of ice and completely changing our weather patterns. It's crazy to think about, but even a very small change makes a massive difference to the delicate balance of our global home. So how exactly does this build into a huge chain reaction? What are the actual effects of a warmer Earth? Well, step 1. The ice at the North and South Poles melts way faster than it normally would. Just imagine how that affects all the amazing animals living there. Then, step 2, all that melted ice flows right into the oceans, which means sea levels can rise all around the globe. And finally, step 3, our weather patterns shift. This can mean way more powerful storms or even longer periods without any rain. It affects plants, animals, and people all over the world. See, everything is connected.
And this brings us to the thing that really worries scientists today. Remember earlier how we talked about Earth always having natural temperature changes, like the Ice Age? Well, that is completely true. But the speed of today's warming, that's the real shocker. Back in the year 1900, the temperature had increased by a really small 0.8 degrees. But if you look at predictions for the end of the 21st century, they jump to a massive 3 to 5 degrees Celsius. Because our invisible blanket is trapping heat so fast today, nature just doesn't have enough time to easily adapt. That extra speed is exactly what makes this a real mystery we need to solve together.
So class, we've basically solved the mystery of why our planet is sweating. We've learned all about the long journey from the Ice Age, that invisible blanket of greenhouse gases, and how the crazy speed of our changing climate impacts everything from sea levels to our weather patterns. But before we go, I want to leave you with a thought-provoking question for your class discussion. If Earth is like a blanket, what could we actually do to make it thinner and trap a little less heat? Seriously, think about how we can help our amazing planet cool down. I really hope you loved this journey of discovery today. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, and follow for more exciting world adventures. Stay curious, keep exploring, and I'll see you on the next Explainer.